Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. The third video in what, 24 freaking hours. I did say you'd be seeing a lot of me, but again, I do apologise ladies and gentlemen, but where did you get something bad as I need to look at this guy 3 times in 24 hours? You also get something good in terms of more Rangers signings. That's the balance that Thanos was talking about. But moving swiftly on from what may be a dated reference these days, I don't know, time flies, ladies and gentlemen, and especially flies now that we're getting thick and fast. The first domino started to fall under Aribo, and now everything is clicking into place, and a lot like the Aribo video that we uploaded yesterday, this hasn't officially yet been announced as I'm currently recording, but it will be very, very soon, either by the time I actually upload it, or within 24 to 48 hours after it. So again, instead of sitting on my hands here, letting you wonder if there's anything in this, I know some people rely on this channel for information, so I thought I would tell you. We have our next signing lined up and ready, and his name is Tom Lawrence, and by God, is he glorious. Tom Lawrence is obviously joining the football club on a free transfer, which again brings more people criticising and going after it and laughing at it and stuff like that, but I just didn't get that mindset. If you get a good player on a free, surely that's something that should be celebrated instead of spending £5 million on a goalkeeping dud that you have to get rid of the next again year. You know what I mean? There's a balance to this game, and money spent doesn't always reflect on a player being good. In fact, you can always be pretty lucky sometimes, and I think we have been in the free transfer market. Just look at last season with the likes of John Lundstrom. What do we think of that, laddie? So I'm not going to be critical of us going ahead and grabbing another free signing. I actually think this free signing is absolutely sensational, as again he joins us at 28 years old, a couple years after Derby spending £4.5 million on the laddie. He comes here in the prime of his career, ready to perform, and I know some people has been a little bit critical of this signing, saying we're signing guys, it's 28, 29-year-old with no resale value. That makes absolutely no sense to me. We need players that can go right now, and it doesn't require a couple years to develop. We need impact players, and again, look at the likes of Lundstrom and the impact they can have in the team. I'm alright with signing 28, 29-year-olds as long as they come here and do their job. So the thoughts on this being yet another free transfer doesn't affect me in the slightest. What will, as we go ahead in today's video, is kicking the tyres and finding out what we've brought to this football club, because again, price tags and all that didn't matter. It's about what you're actually bringing in. So let's dive into it and see what we've welcomed at the football club then, shall we? As Tom Lawrence has joined, of course, I've already said he's 28-year-old. He's a right-footed player that's comfortable on his left, and that's probably why he spent the majority of his career playing at left wing, whilst also being able to play right across the middle. I mean, he can play down the right-hand channel, he can play in centre mid, and he can play just behind the striker, where he's played the second most amount of games in his career. And I think if you take a step back and you think about that, I'm pretty sure right now, after looking into this laddie over the last couple of days and really diving in to what his career and that's been about, I think if you checked up versatile in the dictionary, you'd see a wee picture of Tom like this. But it's probably the versatility that will get a lot more people excited about this transfer, because on paper, because we're just human, you know what I mean? When we hear we're linked with someone, we have a wee Google, we read he's a left winger, we start getting worrying, we start going down the spiral, and we think, oh no, is this a Kent replacement? He's got short time on his deal. Is Kent going out the door? No, ladies and gentlemen, this man is versatile, and I think he's there to complement a Ryan Kent, almost take the shackles off a Ryan Kent, who I'm pretty sure will be signing a new contract very soon. So didn't worry about that, because Tom and Kent is two players you could probably put together in terms of their skill and the ability to beat a man, the bravery on the ball. That's definitely what Tom brings, and again, that flexibility to go down the left or right hand channel and take anybody on with either foot brings that unpredictability, and of course brings a lot of fouls, as defenders, especially up here, will just absolutely nail him, because they won't have a clue where he will actually go, and that's definitely going to be a plus for us, as it will give us more options to put balls into the box. And that's obviously something we excel at. And you know something, I've done a lot of these videos over the years, and we've talked about a lot of different players, but I don't know if it's recency bias or anything like that. It might be because I'm pretty excited, but I think Tom really stands out as a player because of how simply attack-minded he actually is. We've signed good players in the past that we could have done jobs going back and forth and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but we've really signed someone new who goes forward with the football. And I think if you asked a lot of Rangers fans some of their frustrations of watching the team and that over the last couple of years, it's we've not had enough people just attack minded that when they get the ball just want to go forward, either have a shot themselves or try and create havoc. And that's exactly what Tom does every single time he gets the football. He's turning around and he's driving to make things happen. And if you remember when we signed Fashion Sakala, I talked about him being shot happy and everything like that if he gets a bit of space. Well, that's the exact same as Tom. You give him a yard of space or even half of that, he will shift out to the right foot or the left foot and be willing to have a pop. And that's exactly the type of mindset that we need added into this team, because we need to score more goals, we need to be braver in the attack, and that's exactly what Tom brings to the table. And again, I've already mentioned the likeness and that to Ryan Kent, but I just think it will be beneficial again to Rangers but also to Ryan Kent, especially domestically, where he's been double marked and had two men on him pretty much for every single game over the last 2 years. You wonder why he's good in Europe and he's not got the same intensity of that in Scottish football. It's because he's got two anchors kicking him from pillar to post everywhere. Tom, for me, helps lighten that load, and I can see it being beneficial again to the overall team. And again, I wanted to mention Ryan Kent because there will be a lot of questions. I'm already getting some tweets. Does that mean Kent's away? No, I can see it being a tandem with them two, and a very, very exciting one in that. But I think with that being said, that's me talked enough around the player, and there's a couple of things I want to talk about elsewhere in the video, so stay tuned for that. But I think we'll get to some numbers and stats and get them out the way, because I know the way the world is these days, that's what people care about. It's the first thing people want to know whenever a signing comes in the door. So looking at Tom, who obviously joins us on a free transfer, he previously played for Derby County during one of the most dramatic seasons for Derby on and off the park. We know the financial troubles, we know the turmoil and everything that they went through. It was not an easy season to be a Derby player, but yet Tom Lawrence still played 38 games in all competitions, which he managed to bag 11 goals and 5 assists during that run, which is not too bad considering it was played all over the shop and there was a lot of stuff going wrong and everything off the field. Again, it was a hard time to be a Derby player, and for me, he definitely performed for them and gave them a chance at avoiding relegation. Unfortunately, it didn't quite happen, but again, where they take it away, we end up getting, as he's here on a free. But there is something else I want to talk about in terms of his stats and statistics. It's not just goals and assists, because I think this here will paint more of a picture and explain to you why I'm pretty excited about bringing a Tom. Because listen, he's a very good footballer, he's very talented, he's very skillful, he'll have the shots. We've talked about all that, but something I am very, very excited about adding into the team is his, how do I say it, wind-up merchant-esque behaviour, because this boy loves to get in faces, loves to talk trash, loves to get stuck in and put his foot in there and that, as well as he's picked up 9 yellow cards last season from the 38 games he played, which some people might say, that's not too bad. Trust me, when we start looking back and looking at this man's entire career, you'll see some incredible tackling and yellow card stats, but that's what the player actually is, and he adds that bite to the team now, because for me, and I've said it many times on the channel if you watch regularly, we are far, far, far too nice to the opposition. Only last season we really had Lundstrom that was willing to nail somebody and take somebody out from behind and pick up a yellow card and that if needed. We've seen year upon year good talented players like the likes of Kamara and Aribo, but they're all nice guys, you know what I mean? Sometimes you need someone to get in there, wind somebody up, get in their faces and take a yellow card for the team, and Tom is more than happy to get that, and trust me, he will get amongst things and he'll probably frustrate the life out of us sometimes next season, but he's an important bite to the team that I think we've been badly adding. And I think you can see with the likes say Lundstrom getting added, now you're adding Tom in there, we're starting to add it all over the park, and for me it is going to be beneficial. Now some people will point to his behaviour in the friendly not too long ago versus Rangers, where him and Tavernier had the back and forth and everything like that, but again, what did we say back then? I know I was annoyed at the laddie, but I was like, we need somebody like that that's going to wind up and take the opposition out the game by using this, because it doesn't always need to be skill. Sometimes you can beat somebody using this, and that is what Tom excels in, and something I'm very, very excited to see added to the team, especially being an attacking player, getting amongst these hammer throwers, all these boys that's going to be piling at the back. Get them yellow cards, get after them, and get them off the frickin' park. But moving away from just the troubled Derby season that everyone sort of heard about just now, let's take a step back and look at his entire footballing CV in terms of club football. Again, as usual, no under-18s, no reserve league, no B league, no under-21s football. Just looking at the top flight football that the man's played in his club career. Again, at the age of 28 years old. Tom has played 298 games in total, grabbing 56 goals and 45 assists during that time, which makes it 101 goal contributions in the 298 games, which is almost a goal or assist, every 3 games, which is actually pretty decent. Again, he spent the majority of his career at left wing, played the second most just behind the striker, but he's played centre mid, he's played right wing, he's even led the line, especially for Derby last season. He can go anywhere and he can impact the game from a multitude of areas. Did I say that word right? Low-key proud of myself, I think. But as we mentioned earlier on, remember the shithousery, the wind-up merchant, the acceptance of yellow cards? Remember I mentioned that? Well, throughout his entire club career, this man has picked up 57 yellow cards. 57. I'll say it again for all the ins at the back that's not really paying attention to the video. 57 yellow cards. He spent the majority of his career at left wing. I never even knew that was possible, but it paints a picture of what he's willing to do to the opposition and how much he just plays like he absolutely hates them. And again, for me, that'll work in my frickin' opinion. He's also been red carded straight 3 times and picked up another red card getting booked twice in 1 game. He loves it. But despite the hype up, and again I always try and worry about trying to keep the videos balanced so I can give you the overall thing so you can make your own mind up. I'm not just sitting here praising that and saying, oh, he's going to be doing this, because he's not a reckless player or anything like that. And I think if you need that backed up, if you look at Derby last season, Wayne Rooney gave the captain's armband to Tom because of his behaviour on and off the park and how much he's matured and grown over the last couple of years. Because again, we know he's had his troubles and we know he's had his issues and everything like that. But Wayne Rooney, who knows a thing or two about being a good footballer, identified Tom as the one in the team, Tom as the best player. And for me, that's enough of a sign. Not only does Gio and our scouting team want him, but Wayne Rooney turned around and says, that guy there's the best in the team, that guy there is my captain. I'm alright with that. But before we wrap up and move away from the numbers, there is one last category that we need to fill, and that is internationally, as of course he's a Welsh international, having played 23 games and grabbing 3 goals. Not a bad little Welsh career right there. And again, it's something that we'll be looking at Rangers to try and get him back in and amongst and play more regularly. And I welcome that. Hungry players wanting to prove a point by coming up here is delighted, ladies and gentlemen. And I think we'll move away from the numbers and stats and we'll just transition naturally to the fact that he is coming up here, because he did get other options, he did get a wee bit of money, and he did get other opportunities to go to other teams. And the fact that he has rejected all those offers to come to our football club is a sensational bit of move. And again, it tells me everything I need to know about Tom. He's here by choice. He's not here with a free transfer because no one else didn't want him. No, he chose our football club. And again, I can't wait to see how we can impact it. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's everything that pretty much needs to be said about the laddie. Again, he is a shot-happy attacking player. I mean, look at this shot map last season. Does that not just get you excited thinking how many times we've got 15 yards of space and no one's willing to have a pop and we've passed it sideways or passed it back? Does that not just get you going and say, yes, that is what we've been craving? It does to me, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it's another smart bit of business that I hope works out for both us and Tom. But with all that being said, now all I want to know is your opinions on Tom Lawrence. Are you happy? Are you mad? Are you sad? Or are you glad? Let me know down there in the comments section below as the Rangers transfer business just keeps on keeping on. And till next time, ladies and gentlemen, which again won't be too long before you see this guy again if things go the way I think they're going to go. Take care of yourselves, everyone. All the best and bye-bye.